Hello, Scott Ryan here. Thank you for joining me. Well, I think I figured something out here in regard to the reason that Newt Gingrich is still in this race. As you may know, I have from the beginning been a Santorum supporter, but ironically voted for Newt Gingrich here in Florida because he was the only conservative that had a chance to win at that particular time. And now I'm back to supporting Santorum. But I've always maintained that Newt Gingrich, of course, has every right to stay in this race. That's his business. Pardon the jet flying above. But as we see him running out of money, and many in the media are starting to ridicule him for being in this, and they're accusing him of being in it because he has a big ego. I think something just occurred to me this morning that when I cross-reference that with what's going on in the Santorum campaign, it leads me to conclude that maybe we owe a debt of gratitude to Newt Gingrich, and maybe even send him a donation, whether you support him or not. Because we're starting to hear in the media red herrings about Rick Santorum being a potential vice presidential candidate behind Mitt Romney. And I haven't seen anything conclusively, but I've read that Santorum has hinted that he would accept that position. So, number one, many of us who support Santorum do so ardently, and we believe that he's a man of great character. But the most important thing here, for many of us, I can only speak for myself, but my conjecture is that most of us would not be satisfied as we were with McCain when we were supposed to fall in line because now he chose Sarah Palin as his vice presidential campaign. They've been doing this for years, and they think that we're just going to fall in line if they could get Santorum to stand behind Romney as his vice presidential candidate. And if Mitt Romney, if Newt was out of this race, if he were to drop out, it would just be between Santorum and Romney. And that would leave us in a situation where a deal could easily be made at that point, and this would all be over. I love Rick Santorum, but I am not supporting him for vice president. I'm supporting him for president. And I'm very glad, as I think about it, which is different than what I was thinking a week ago, but I'm actually quite glad that Newt Gingrich is still in this race, because in reality, he probably knows this. He's a very intelligent individual, and he probably realizes that that could potentially happen. If he were to drop out of this race, if Newt Gingrich dropped out of this race, there could potentially become an alliance, and this thing could be over. But with Newt in this race, and he knows he cannot win, it's impossible for him to win enough delegates. So why else would he be in this race? Because the second he drops out, a deal can be done. But if he stays in, conservative votes are going to flock back to Newt, even though he can't win, because we're in this to stop the egregious liar Mitt Romney from hijacking this nomination. Something to think about it. Something to think about. So my conclusion from this would be, as for myself, I'm going to continue to support Rick Santorum. Vote for Santorum, but send a donation to Newt Gingrich. I think he's doing a noble thing. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.